Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining today's session. My name is Isabel. I am an event planner for the Reactor, joining you live from Sydney, Australia. Before we begin today's session, we have a quick housekeeping. We strive to create a welcoming, inclusive, and supportive environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, please let's keep all comments respectful, professional, and constructive throughout today's session. This session is being recorded and will be available to view on demand within 24 to 48 hours right here on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. And if this is your first time attending a Microsoft Reactor session, please note that you must create a YouTube account in order to have access and interact in the chat. You can set that up now. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on social media or through the Microsoft Reactor website.
Hello and welcome everyone. We are back again for the Copilot Corner productivity series, and today we're going to do whiteboard. What can you do? What can't you do? What can't you do? There's a lot of can't do at the moment. Not just yet. It's getting there. It's still in its infancy stages, let's just say. So who am I? My name is Kirsty. I am a Microsoft MVP, and I'm here to help you get the most out of this. If you need to reach out to me, please feel free to reach out. And today's presentation is available for you. The Reactor have kindly put the link to it in their session, and it was on my opening page, so you could get it too. We do still have another session coming next week in regards to Microsoft Forms, so keep an eye out on that one. All of the recordings are available on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube site, as well as on my M365 Adoption YouTube site as just try saying that quickly. Clearly, I've been talking all day. So on my agenda, all the usual, same sort of stuff. We're going to go through what is it, where you're going to find it. I'm going to give you a few prompts that you could actually do, and where can you find some more information. And hi and welcome to everyone that is there. Now, don't forget, the very first session, I went through the art of the prompt. And in the art of the prompt, I did go through all things like the GSC and the taxonomy behind it. So all of that is in there. So if you want to know how to actually do a prompt, that is where you're going to go. It's the very first session we ran. Now, where are you going to actually find Copilot? Copilot is right across the ecosystem. So this is my infographic wheel. We've brought this up a few times now, and you will actually note up the very top here, I have got whiteboard. So if I can get the pen to, there we go, the pen's working. So here we go, whiteboard in the very top, and you can actually see we've got the little Copilot icon down the bottom there to support us. But you can actually find whiteboard in a couple of places, because there's information you can drop into here, there. I mean, we can go through a browser, and we can also go through our Microsoft Teams meetings. So I'm going to show you a couple of different places that you can find it, because you can drop the app in channels, and yeah, there's so many areas that you can find that actual application. Now, if you're wanting to use it inside the application, like you actually have the application, you want to do Copilot in the application, you are going to need the license. One of the quickest and easiest ways, which we've talked about each session, to go, do I have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license? Not just Copilot Chat, but a license is when you very first log into your environment, it will actually have your, work web kind of buttons there. If it has no work web, you don't have the license. So there are some limitations as to what you're going to do, and you won't have Copilot embedded in Microsoft Whiteboard. So I'm doing it based on the license today. So from here, where are you going to see it? Inside Whiteboard. Now I'm going to bring up Whiteboard. Don't worry, I'll have a bit of a play around. Number one, once you actually open up the application, so you've got a few things. This one's using the Windows 11. I have Windows 11, but it's the Windows 11 application on your desktop. It's available in the store. You can pull it down. It's kind of part of that sort of rolling out maybe within your organization, or maybe it's not available for you yet. It might be a request that you might want to put in. But you can get in and you can have a bit of a play around. Now, some of the functionality that's in there is if you're wanting to use Copilot on a blank page, one, you're going to come down the bottom and click on the Copilot button. And the only thing you're going to be able to do on a blank page is get some ideas, sort of creating suggestion. You can't do categorize and summarize until you've physically got some content on the page. So you'll be able to do this, categorize and summarize, and or you can choose a particular component and do some suggestions off the back of it. So these are some of the kind of places that you're going to find it, and it will limit it down depending on what you're doing and where you are. I can also do a right click. Now, if there's nothing on the page, it's just going to go suggest. If you do have something on the page, then it will look at things like summarize as well. Couple of different areas. Or I could even be going over into Microsoft Teams. And in Teams, you can go say, I want to share a whiteboard. So first you have to click up your share button and then go share a whiteboard so you can collaborate together. And in there, you're then going to have your Copilot button. I'll show you that too. So from here, what can you do in Whiteboard? Now you can actually open it up and suggest. Now when it's doing any of this content, whatever it is you ask on any of the prompts, and I do have a whole heap of different prompts in here. The downside of where we're at the moment in terms of Whiteboard is you've got here, turning bullet points into diagrams, all this sort of stuff. You can't actually do a lot of this. I know it's here, but you can't really do a lot of this in Whiteboard. There are things that you might do, though, in chat and bring it into Whiteboard and reason over it, okay? So some things are here. You ask Copilot what it can do. It says it can do all this. It actually can't. Not only that, but it's not actually grounded on any external pages or links. If you drop in pictures or you drop in documents, it doesn't seem to be reasoning over it at this point, unfortunately. So a few things there. However, when I do prompts, and prompts like these, I've got all these different prompts in here. What I do love with the different prompts I've got in here for you is it will create all the little kind of notes and put all the notes on the page for you to be able to work and organize to do brainstorming with. So let's go and have a little bit of a look at the various components I've gone through now for you. So from here, let's pull up the sleeves. We'll get ourselves ready. From here. Now, one, this is the Whiteboard app. I've actually got it on my desktop down the bottom here. So you can see I've got my Whiteboard app. That's because I've gone find the Whiteboard, and there it is. I have it on my Windows device. Another place that you can actually go and find your Whiteboard app is if you're going online to your m365.cloud.microsoft, or maybe you're still going to office.com, or you're doing portal.office.com. Either or, you will get redirected to this environment, and you're going to want to go into your apps, and as part of your apps, you'll go do a bit of a search, go all apps, and more often than not, down the bottom, because it's a W, you'll go into your Whiteboard, and you can get to your whiteboards this way. So these are all the various whiteboards I've got. That's another way. What about if you're over in, Microsoft Teams? Because in Teams, for example, if I go say, open up Teams, and as part of my Teams, I might go into a channel, for example, and as part of my different channels that I've got in here, I might come in and I can do my plus button. And as part of my plus button, I might put in Whiteboard. So it's an app. So you're going to find this app all over the place. So there's another one, configuring, ready to go, save, drop it in. Now I've got a tab with a whiteboard. I could be collaborating in a channel. I could be collaborating in a chat, a couple of ways. Or maybe I've kicked off a Teams meeting, which is what we've talked about in the Teams meeting. And in my Teams meeting, there's the share button. What do you want to share? Share a whiteboard. So, okay, once I've shared a whiteboard, I can actually collaborate in real time with my colleagues or external vendors and partners and be able to work on some of the content that we could be doing, including, Loop you can drop into. If you haven't played with Whiteboard, it's rather cool. I do really like it. What you can do with Copilot and Whiteboard is a little bit more limited. So from here, let's have a play. I'm going to go back over to the Whiteboard desktop app, because it's going to be the cleanest for us to have a bit of a play around at this point. So from here, if I'm, for example, I want to go in and I want to suggest certain components. So for example, I did one a little bit earlier. You saw a few there where I wanted to do, and I'm going to show you how I did it. I wanted to stop, start, continue actions when it comes to document management and collaboration. Now you'll see what it's done is it's actually put them based on all these little notes and put them into a grid. So I'm going to bring up and do it for you as to what I put in to generate this. Let's go back to my blank page, get it ready. So my suggest, as part of my suggest, you'll see here completing. I'm going to copy in. So create a template for a team retrospective, a start, stop, continue effectively, or we're doing team type retrospectives with these sections. And it's going to be on document management within Microsoft Teams. I could do maybe SharePoint, I could do across the ecosystem. This could be any topic in terms of behaviors. Because I spend a lot of time in the Microsoft 365 environment, for me, I'm helping people around start, stop, continue behaviors on tech. You might do it on something else. And there's so many other things that you could do. Generate creative campaigns. What are the things I need to do to get myself ready? Help me mind map out of the things that I need to do for a new product, or I want to, outline a particular program. Maybe it's training program or a business case. What are my steps, for example? Lots that you could do. So I'm going to kick in and go drafting in progress. Now, the things that you can do with Whiteboard is way more than this. And a lot of what I've got in there on what you can do with Whiteboard on the presentation you saw previously, you can do all that, but not necessarily with Copilot. So from here, it's giving me some suggestions around using consistent naming conventions. It's like, great, I'm liking all these little notes that we can put on the grid. I can go generate more. Now I can do this a couple of times. The max it will give me is 36, but I could come back again and say, can you suggest some more? So keep going, one more. Okay, so now I've got it. If I go do again, you'll say I've reached the limit. Yeah, okay. Let's go insert them. So this is what I did. From here, I've got all these start, stop, continue. It's not actually organizing it into my start bucket, stop. No, I didn't say to organize it into the start, stop. Up the top, you'll see I've got categorize, or I could come down the bottom here, categorize, or I could right click and got suggest and summarize. If I choose all of them, will it give me categorize? No, with a right click. So it's up the top, down the bottom. So if I go, can you categorize this? What it's going to do is go through my notes and put them into buckets based on a topic that it thinks is going to be relevant for the notes that you've got based on the question that you asked for the suggestion in the first place. So it's like, okay, I like that. I could go, regenerate it, and it might give me some extra, or changes in terms of the topics, do a bit of a recategorization. You'll see it's kind of just flipped it around a little bit. Go, sure, keep it. So from here, it could be I come back and go, can you suggest and put this into start, stop, continue buckets? We'll just see what it does. Start, stop, continue buckets. So experimenting new ideas, it's kind of starting all over again. So if I go in like this, you'll notice it's kind of not really doing it and putting it into the start, stop. If I go categorize, now it's doing it based on start, stop, continue. Because I was kind of a little bit more specific, but I didn't actually say what the topic was. I just said just start, stop, continue. What do we want to? So if I wanted to have things in buckets, I'd probably be building maybe a little bit more myself to get it to go into specific buckets first. Okay. So from here, let's come back up. What could I do though off this? So if I could get rid of this one. Okay, back in. You might go, I don't want that one there. And I didn't keep it in the first place, so I can now go delete it out. So from here, I've got my content on the page. And as part of the content that you're seeing, here, it is now, well, what could I do off the back of this? Copilot will actually give me things like, a summarize. So if I go, can you summarize this, whether I choose the whole thing or a right click, it's all going to be there, and go summarize the page. Now, what it's doing and what I particularly like about the functionality is it's building out a Microsoft loop. And in this loop, I've got my key themes from the session, and it gives me a picture. What I do like about that, especially if I was in and I was collaborating with a variety of people and we had notes and buckets and we were designing and we were doing ideas, or because there are a lot of templates, and I'll come back and show you some of the templates in a minute. So if I go, that's great, you'll see who's got access to it. I could go copy that component and paste it into chat, for example, and share it. Now this, because it's in Whiteboard, and this one is sitting in my environment, effectively it's saving into kind of my OneDrive. If I was doing it in a channel, it would then be in a very different spot because it would be in your SharePoint environment. But I could actually share this with others. I go, yes, keep it. So it gives me a little bit of an idea. Now, when I'm workshopping, more often than not, like I get lots of ideas, or I get them to give me some questions of things that we could potentially problem solve. And I might be helping by typing them in. So from here, say I've got, this is one from a previous meeting. And in the meeting, it was around, training. And the training was, what are the different processes that we need to kind of get involved in. Now, you'll see up the very top, if I zoom right in, the one thing I love about, a whiteboard is I can go as big or as small. See how up the very top it says Copilot? That's because Copilot actually generated this. So it does tell you and makes it very clear who's done what. So I could reason over this as we see it. If I go right click and I go suggest, assigning roles, it could be suggest. Maybe you went how we can assign roles for each at a stage, maybe. So if I'm doing that, you'll note it's creating just some more. It's like, where is it going to insert? Because I was clicked on this in the first place. You'll see it's going over the top. Now, I could move that out and then have arrows off it. So this is when I'm doing brainstorm, more often than not, I might have done a drawing, then I'll do a bit of a what do you suggest, and then I put it off the back of a spoke wheel, for example, as part of my brainstorming process, and I just get AI involved at this point. So you have to understand kind of what it's doing. It's purely focused on notes. That's what it's focused on. So for example, if I was doing notes, or if I have notes from meetings, so say, it's something like this. I've got a meeting summary, and you go suggest, it's not giving me a summary of some meeting notes. If I've got a picture, I come in, this is based on being a frontier firm. Can you suggest information based on, based on what you see? It won't do it, okay? So these are some of those limitations. Good to know. So I'm getting you kind of up to speed because it is focused on, see what it's doing is summarize, highlight trends. So it's not looking at the picture. Okay. Same with PDFs or documents you might actually bring in. But I've been in plenty of workshops like this where we've put storyboarding and we've created content and we've got notes that we can then reason over. Or what I've got is, this is a scenario working on a project. It was a modern workplace, collaboration contract that I was doing with the team. And I went, right, everyone, what is available? What are the key components of your roles? So everyone was typing in to each of their little, note box. These are the things that are in my role. What I wanted to do from this was start to, do some reasoning or questions over it. But if I just came in and went, can you do one categorization or summary? So summary would give me that loop piece, which was great because then I could share this back out and we were talking about it in our channel. So I could drop this part into the channel. These are all the key themes, the things that we mapped out, who was all the participants. So everyone was involved and it would be shared with them. Okay, so that was the one great component. So I'll just go, yep, sure, keep it. But I also could come back in and go, can we categorize this at all? What does that look like? Whether I do, come up to the top, categorize here. See, there's my quick bar kind of thing, go categorize it. So what it would do is it really, considering it was the individual, it's not going to help me too much. And it's gone over the top of some writing there. Let me just move that down. But what it did do is it kind of went, these are the core themes. So project management, infrastructure, governance, security, administration. It kind of did look at that. So if I went back and sort of wanted to play around with this a little bit, it could be then go suggest. So from here, I just kind of went based on, I did ask questions over it. So from the following content, decide me what top 6 Microsoft Teams channels for communication and collaboration would actually work. Now, what I could have done was based on that loop piece. Let me just go back again. I'm going to close that down. Let me come back. I need to just go back, summarize again, because I think I might have dropped it off. Let's go keep it. Based on this, these were kind of the themes. I'm just going to copy it. Because I had it all listed out, it's a little harder to kind of get it in here. Like each one of these, try and copy and paste was a little hard. So what I did was copy it based off my notes. Then I did suggest. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to get the prompt. So I didn't have to leave my notebook. So it will be, from the following, can you give me suggested channels? It's like, excellent. That's what I wanted. So I could go, these are the core channels. So I could give myself a little book and then go, these are what we suggested as the core channel. And I then, off the back of this, let me just move that down a bit, move it around. So off the back of this, I then did a guidance and governance where I went, and this is what we're going to have in each one of these channels and who is the person responsible off the back of it. So I could stay here and keep project working, and I didn't have to go too far away, but it will always look at those notes. So from here, and a couple of other cool things. If I'm doing, so if I want to do a new workbook, and if you haven't really dealt with Whiteboard too much, what I do love about it is you can come in here and there are a lot of amazing templates. And more often than not, a lot of those templates, for example, you'll see have actually got in them, it likes to work based on notes. So a lot of these templates have notes that people are filling in. And the good part about that is you can actually reason over it to a limited degree, but you can do summarizations effectively off it, which is where I love it, because that is where I get more functionality out of it when you start to join it all together. So with all of these recommended and brainstorming templates, you'll see there are so many and they are all in here. And if you haven't played, and even the fact I can come and do a choose your favorite or the one truth, two lie using a template, for example. So I choose on the page where it needs to be. And you'll see how I've now got all of these boxes. And they are all my notes that I can add to the grid. So the vast portion of the templates do work off the back of this note structure anyway, which does help me with my Copilot functionality. So that gives you a little bit of an idea. So you will then see that, you know, what we've got in here, it is focused on the notes. When we're talking about the ideation and the creation and there are certain components you can and can't. It will based on your notebook. So all of these prompts, you could put it in any one of these. So find a trends or help me with, you can drop it all in and it will list them all out in notebooks. So from there, If you're wanting any further information, don't forget we've got more sessions coming up. There's lots of information and you will find things on the Copilot blog. There's not as much in regards to Whiteboard, but there are a couple of Whiteboard blogs. There's some good learning and help around Whiteboard and what you can use it for, whether you're inside a meeting. And the good part is if you do it in a meeting, it will show up in your apps. So if you've got Whiteboard actually open in on your desktop, they all do sync together based on your account to Surface Hubs, for example. So you could be doing this on Surface Hubs for the likes as well. So I've put in here, you know, what are those loop components, because you can drop loop components into Whiteboard. And then you can look at how you can reason over it. There's lots of different questions. There's not a lot there on the frequently asked questions just yet. I've put in all those day in the life of guides and science of prompting, and don't forget there's scenario libraries. Lots of great learning around Copilot. You can go to the Microsoft Learn documentation. There are step-by-step on how to do from really basic through to quite advanced across the Copilot ecosystem. Keep an eye out on the what's new. In fact, for Whiteboard, I would even recommend maybe going and having a look at the Insiders channel. If you look at the Insiders for Microsoft 365, a lot of what is coming and on the roadmap will actually help you to understand, you know, if there's something new for Whiteboard. My wheel is available for you to be able to download should you wish to. And don't forget, really, the true power of using AI lies in the way that you actually work. So it's up to you whether you want to go on that journey. I say go have a bit of fun, slow down so you can speed up, and start looking at how you can use Whiteboard in your meetings to be able to do a better drawing and brainstorming and using those little notes to reason over with Copilot. Thank you so much for joining us. And that was a bit of a, you know, a true or not true for, you know, Whiteboard, because as I said, not a massive amount yet, but there is plenty that will be coming potentially down the line. So thank you for joining, and don't forget the presentation is available. And in a fortnight, we will see you back on the, I think it's back on the Wednesday night, to have a look at Microsoft Forms, which has got a little bit more involved in it when it comes to Copilot. I do love Copilot in Forms. Thank you for joining, everyone. If there's any questions, please feel free to put them in chat.